Hello, today I've come on to share some crafty news and also another page in my electric ink designs journal. I have shared one or two pictures in here before, so I think I've shared this one of Jessica, and then there's this one which I tried to make look like an old black and white movie with the tracking going, and this one basically in the parks. I've extended the journal page past the image there, and finally this page, which I don't think I've actually shared yet, and I've just simply done coloured lines in the back just to make this image pop. Really, I didn't want to do too much in the background because I think there's quite a bit going on in that image there. Added some quotes because I love a quote, so it's be different, be you, must love dogs, and happiness comes after contentment. My crafty news is I am now on the design team for Electric Ink Designs, and this is going to be my first page as part of the DT. I am using the Urban Muse collection that's coming out on the 9th of June. So I've taken the image, one of the background images from that collection, and I've simply cut it apart. I've even just printed this on copy paper, so yeah, no special paper or cardstock for this one. I just want to take this bit off the edge, and what I'm going to do first of all is put some background down. So I've got out my rather well loved and a bit painty script stamp, which I'm just going to roughly stamp in different places. I'm just using the VersaFine Clair in Nocturne, and I'm not going to bother with a acrylic block. I'm just, because I don't want it to be neat anyway, I'm just going to randomly stamp it down. Because it's just part of my background. I am going to use different parts of the stamp, not that it matters too much because you can't read it anyway, so you wouldn't even know if it was the same piece. And I think I will do one more up in that top corner. Will do. The next thing I'm using is the washi tape that I bought from the Works the other day. So it's this one, it's like a film strip, and what I'm going to do is cut it in half so I can have a top and a bottom to my page. It doesn't matter that it's not cut straight across the middle because you're not going to see that bit anyway, so I've done that. Otherwise we would have had 10 minutes of this video with me trying to take the backing off the tape and trying to get it straight on the page at the edges. So now that's just going to go there. So as you can see, this is just the bits that I've cut off. So I'm going to leave those bits and just do this very edge of the image. I've gone with tape and glue on this piece just to make sure that it does stick. It's more of a Pritt stick rather than a wet glue. That actually went better than expected. It actually lined up. The next image I've got is from the same collection, but this is the lady already on the background scene. So you can get the PNG files, which means that you can obviously lay them up yourself, but this one she's already on there. I've decided to colour them with my pens that I picked up at the weekend from the middle of Lidl. And or I think it was actually during last week because I was on holiday, but yeah, I did share them in a short YouTube video. Now I didn't stupidly test them out on any paper first. Like I said, this is just copy of paper from my printer, and but it worked okay, and I was just trying out the colours on the edge, and unfortunately this one did have a leak. So I've got paper and tissue that looks like I've had a nasty accident. So that's just a reminder to everyone really to always check your pens on a spare bit of paper, even if they're not new, because sometimes you'll just take a lid off and they spit everywhere even though you've used them before. Fortunately, I can get away with this because I'm just going to place it behind this Polaroid, so that will be fine. I used wet glue to stick her to this, just to make sure that she stays on there. And I'm going to add this sticker, which came from a set that I bought from the works. I have shared the haul, I think, but it's from this set here. You get 100 stickers. And I thought because it's black and white, it tones in really nicely. Something else that I've just remedied, because I didn't really realise or think about it when I cut this tape in half, is you could obviously still see these bits and they weren't going to be covered, so I've just trimmed them off. Fortunately it wasn't stuck down well enough so I was able to peel it up and cut it. So we've got her ready, and I want to add in this Amala stamp. So if you sort of recognise the style of these stamps, it might be because it's the same lady or part of the team. So these were made by Carly Duff and Tony Darroch, and produced by Stamps by Me, which is Tony Darroch's company. But because Carly has drawn a lot of these, and this is obviously Electric Ink is her digital range, that's why they've got that similar vibe going on about them. I'm going to add the lamp post from this one. Now because these stamps are so big, it's really handy because obviously you can change the size of a digital, so you don't need to worry about that at all, and you can obviously match these up to just about the right size for these physical stamps. What I'm going to do is get a large acrylic block and put this on it, and I'm going to fold the book over when I do that, so I've got a bit more space to work in. And I am going to see that bit off camera because I know it's going to be fiddly and it's probably going to take a long while, so hopefully you were able to see that I had clear embossing powder on that, and I've just heated it up obviously with the heat tool. Now I couldn't really decide whether to colour her hair, which might seem a bit odd, but I thought, well, that sort of white, blonde and grey, it has been a style, but I've decided to go a bit bolder on her and colour her hair in this mauve. I have already tested the pen, so say, other than the fact that I had that accident, which could have honestly happened with any pen, I've been quite impressed with these. And bearing in mind that I am colouring on just ordinary copier paper, it's quite a good quality one. It's not the cheapest you can get, but again, it's not expensive either. So I use this one, which I bought on Amazon. And yeah, I'm quite impressed with how they're doing. Obviously they are coming through the back, you've got to expect that, but the pens and colouring on this paper, they're not bleeding over the lines and things, so yeah, I'm very impressed with those. I think they were about $2.99 for a pack, so there's 3 different packs, and yeah, it's quite impressive that. Anyway, back to my journal page. So I've coloured in her hair, and I'm going to put her probably about there, but I do want to add just a stamp as sort of a title almost, and I'm going to add Trendsetter from this same Amala set, which is, I've forgotten, it's the Trendsetter set, and I'm going to use the word Trendsetter. One thing I should point out is that I need to be careful with my heat gun next to the sticker, because obviously this is for plastic, so it will shrink and melt, possibly catch fire. And also obviously it dries the adhesive off it, so it wouldn't stick anymore. So yeah, I just had to be really quick with it. I made sure that my heat gun was really hot before I used it on the embossing powder. And obviously it does kind of add this bubbly effect because I've heated it from the front, whereas normally I would heat from the back, but obviously it's a bit more difficult to do in something like this. And anyway, I don't mind this because it's added a sort of texture. So I'm just going to set that in there. There's a nice glare on it from the light. I think that's straight. Just press down. You don't need to press hard, but what I would suggest is just leaving it on the page so the ink soaks into the page. Especially because I'm not using my stamping press. So she'll go there. I will leave links to all the places where you can find these. So it's on the Facebook page, also on Instagram, but you have to order via the Facebook page at the moment, as far as I'm aware. Or you can contact Carly Duff directly on Facebook. If you go to the Electric Ink Designs Facebook page, and then you can just drop a private message with whatever set you want, and I think she'll send you a link so you can send the payment. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a thumbs up and a comment, and until next time, cheerio.